Hi, everyone. I'm Monica McCormick from NYU Press and NYU Libraries. And we don't have a catchy one-word title. We have a catchy three-word title, Enhanced Network Monographs. Again, with support from the Mellon Foundation, we got a 3-year, $785,000 grant to build this complicated and exciting set of solutions. So the problems that we're trying to solve are related to things that my colleagues have talked about. One of them, we have a very strong media studies list at NYU Press, and a lot of our authors have asked for media in their books, which we've struggled to figure out how to help them with. University presses, as everyone understands, are constrained. We don't have developers on staff, and we don't have R&D funding. We don't have capital, so the Mellon Foundation is stepping in to help us with that. But the primary issue that we're addressing in this project is that digital books are constrained. As Susan suggested, they're essentially a copy of a print book that's just been made available to read on devices. We're interested in creating digital books that are networked, that are really part of the internet, and that are also, the corpus of books are connected to each other in a variety of ways. So this approach to putting books in the network, as my colleagues are, we're using and building open source technology. We're really relying very carefully on standards. So EPUB 3, we're using the developing standard for annotation that will add to the interface. And we're also concerned about efficiencies for the press, so we're using technology and resources that we already have. EPUB 3 is a critical piece of this. So I'll quickly describe the project's two parts. First part is a topic map of terminology in the corpus of books, and then the second is the reading interface. So the topic map of semantic terms is being developed for us by a software developer in Brooklyn called InfoLoom. And we've given InfoLoom a corpus of 110 books, some mostly ours, but some from Michigan and Minnesota presses, so thank you for those. They're all EPUBs, and what he's done is create a system to gather the terms from the human-created indexes in those books and create a list of topics that cross through that whole corpus. So shockingly to me, 110 books yielded 36,000 index terms. Some of them are the very deeply hierarchical indexes that occasionally slightly crazy authors are interested in making. So the big task now is to consolidate those terms, and he's building us an interface, the InfoLoom folks are building us an interface so that we can begin to manage what we do with all those terms and how we can actually use them together. So for example, we have multiple versions of a name like Franklin Delano Roosevelt. We'll have to make those into one thing so that they can all be discovered, but they'll have a single name. More complicatedly, a term like race, which we have 220 index examples of that, and we'll have to think very carefully not just about what to call that, but what else to call it, how these ideas and concepts are connected to each other. So the next stage for this process is to hire an indexer / editor to work closely with our developer team and with us to think about a process by which all these terms can be combined, and that the software tool can become smarter when we ingest new content, how it can take advantage of decisions we're making now. And that's going to be a big and complicated and exciting project. The second part of our work is to build a reading interface for the ultimate corpus. And we're starting with a set of beta project that we started for open access books, about 65 NYU Press backlist titles. And we're using a tool called Readium, which is an open source tool. It's got a fairly large community, and it's designed to enable the upload of EPUBs so that it can be read on the web, in the browser, almost any browser. We're sort of punting on Internet Explorer, so too bad for those people. I don't pity them that much, actually, sorry. So it allows any browser and any size device. So it uses EPUB 3 because it's flowable, and that was both the fact that it was a standard format, it was one that a lot of presses already have, and that it would enable people to read on many, many kinds of devices, including mobile. It's got some challenges. It's more or less in beta. So this is just an example of the interface of our site now. This is a detail page for a book, and where I've indicated circles are, we've added links out to social media, and then we have the material in the middle here is all pulled from NYU Press Onyx metadata. And then you can link to buy the book in print or an ebook version, and then there's another button to read it online. So if you click the Read Online button, you get into the Readium interface, which is in an iframe in the web browser. In this case, I'm showing an example that we've added. We've embedded some YouTube video in it for a newly released book we're publishing in media studies. And the red circles, again, indicate where you can navigate through the book and how settings to change the reading interface for different readers' choices. Those, if you move your browser away or you move your cursor away, they just disappear. So the reading interface becomes very open and clean, and it works, again, on any size device. We've had the user interface and the whole our existing beta site evaluated by the user experience team in NYU Libraries, and that's been really helpful because we've got a list of lots of things we want to fix. The project is a combination of a collaboration between NYU Press and the library's digital library technology team, so we're sort of an in-house shop, but we're also going to be involving a set of advisors, both for the interface. We're going to create 2 different advisory groups, one for the interface and one to help us think about what to do with the topics. So the ongoing challenges we're facing are those interface design issues. One of the things we've discovered about Readium is that because it's EPUB and it's flowable, it doesn't allow you to zero in on a single point in the text easily. So for example, when we want to add annotations, we want to focus on those index terms that we're creating a big set of. Even to do effective full-text search, we need to find a way, and the whole community of Readium is working on this, to think about how do you locate a spot in the text, and what are the interface challenges with that. Creating different ways people can look at it, add annotations, and have the annotations disappear. We're working with Hypothesis, but there are other alternatives we're considering as well. The other big project is to make the index terms that we've identified into linked open data where that's relevant. So I think it will be fairly straightforward with personal names, geographical terms. We can go out to name authorities and sort of existing standards for how do you identify those materials. But concepts, as I suggested before, are going to be much, much more complicated. This is not like science and medicine where they're agreed upon meanings for specific terms. The humanities is fundamentally about arguing about the meanings of terms. So we can imagine a huge thorny mess when we start to say this term is equivalent or the opposite of that term. So we're going to be bringing in an ontology advisory group to help us think about what are the most useful ontologies that may exist out there that we could rely on, or what are ways that we could begin to build one that is acceptable or useful in the blurry and contested world of humanities scholarship. So those are the big steps we're taking next. And I'll stop there. Thanks.